we're watching this. Well, we did.
We watched it. It's too late. We watched it already.
Oh. Yes, this is a patron request.
Nice.
And funny story about this. I received the patron request and was like, I've heard of Pep Squad before. Looked it up on Amazon. I was like, oh yeah, I recognize that cover. Okay. Ordered a copy. It arrived, and then I realized when I was going through my DVD collection for something else, I had a copy of it.
Dun, dun, dun.
So if you want this, you can have it.
That's okay.
And so apparently she wasn't that impressed with it.
No, I don't need random DVDs.
So I have 2 copies of Pep Squad, and since it was in my film collection, not in my to-watch collection or my to-review collection, I must have seen it, unless I severely misplaced it, but I do not recall ever watching it. But we know I have a terrible memory anyway.
Yeah. Might have accidentally put it in.
So, what did you think of this one?
It was entertaining. I mean, a lot of the movies you get requested for are pretty bad, but it was actually pretty entertaining and held together well. You know, some of the acting wasn't as good as...
Yeah, weirdly, the kid actors, well, the kids, they're all about 35.
Yeah.
They were, except for the 18-year-old who apparently she was drinking in a bar, drinking real alcohol, and it was illegal.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it.
But the adult actors, the full-on adult actors were worse than the kid actors in this, which I do not understand. It's just, that doesn't happen usually.
Maybe they were told to ham it up.
I don't know.
That made an ominous crunching sound.
Bounce off that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so, one of the villain-ish? She's only really a villain at the very... There's a character who behaves like Hagen, but looks like a combination of Melissa Joan Hart and Tara from RDA.
Yeah.
And it's really weird.
Sherry. It's really annoying that she didn't actually go on to do anything else.
Yeah, she was really good in the... Apparently she's the younger sister of the writer and director, and she was in one of his other movies in 2005, and she's been involved in documentaries about low-budget movies, but she hasn't done much acting, which is unfortunate, because she was really good in this.
Yeah, she was. And yeah, we picked up pretty early on that she was, her idea of a performance was very similar to How I Do Hagen.
Yes, it was awesome.
As in, veering wildly between screeching anger and sort of not understated but quiet anger.
Yes.
Sort of, you know, right between them. And one thing I did like is that no characters in this, as far as I can tell, had any sort of an arc. No one changed. They weren't changed by their experiences, you know?
Yeah.
Because I had some limited dealings with the Northern Ireland Film Board, with a couple of guys in it, and with a script that I wrote, and they were insistent that I had to have some sort of character. The actions in the film that I'd written changed the characters. And I didn't want that to happen because the film takes place literally over about 6 hours. So I was thinking, you know, if logically, even if the events that happened would change them, it would take longer than that to sink in.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that there's a film there that did not do that. This woman was crazy for no reason at all at the start, and she was crazy for no reason at all at the end.
Yeah, there was a lot of suspension of disbelief going on.
Yeah.
You have to assume that this is just the way things are.
Yeah, and this came out in 1998. You said that was after Columbine? Before?
Both before.
Or was 1999?
Yeah, because I was out of high school.
Okay.
And I graduated in 98.
Okay. Because for some reason I thought this came out after Columbine, but so this is not in anywhere near as bad taste as Duck, the Carbine High Massacre,
No.
which was made within a year of Columbine, and it was actually a dramatization of Columbine made by porn stars.
You were telling me about that.
It's actually much better than you'd expect. It's just incredibly low budget. And all the actors are clearly porn stars.
Basically, there's kind of a main character in this movie, but...
Is there?
I
There's a bunch of people who turn up a lot.
Yeah, like... so... Everyone in this high school is like 30. I don't know why.
Except for that one who's 18.
Everyone
Don't even
smokes,
know who that
everyone
is.
drinks. Their cars seem to be out of 1978 through 1985.
Even though this is at 1998.
Maybe that's because those were the cars that, like, the cast members brought with them. But, yeah, so this concerns a school in Kansas and the pitched battle for prom queen, which is really weird because it's called Pep Squad, so I thought it would be about the cheerleading squad, but they're only, like, tangentially involved.
Yeah, and they
For
have,
some
like,
reason,
you know,
like...
they have, like, you know, the cheerleaders getting murdered, like, you know, X's in their face. I do not recall
No
any.
cheerleaders were harmed in the.
I don't recall any
creation of this
cheerleaders
trauma
dying.
film.
No one died in that scene.
No, and there seems to be no like mention of Prom King. Like, there's no contenders for it. It's not announced. Although it was this really weird stylistic choice of playing either.
That's one of the documentaries that she was in. It's a special feature.
Oh, okay. Either playing God Bless America or America the Beautiful during scenes of murder or where there's guns involved.
Symbolism!
Symbolism. And like a burning American flag at the end. No, it was very snarky and sardonic.
And yet, one of the main characters was... Well, she was basically Rosie O'Donnell as what do you call her? Mrs. Rubble from the Flintstones movie, but as a Baltimore Hun.
Yeah.
And
well, it says right here, Clueless meets John Waters, so...
That's a fair comparison.
He's from Baltimore.
It's also compared to Heather's, but...
It wasn't like Heather's.
The, took me ages to work out what was going with the camera in this, because it was 1998, so I was like, okay, figure probably done in 16mm, but then there was just too many, like, weird artifacts going on in them. Like, every time there was
people's... Like, the patterns of their clothes reacted.
Yeah, spots or, like, lines or anything would sort of interfere with the camera. There was bricks on buildings would do it. Railings would do it. So I figured out that it was probably filmed in a very basic SD or HD digital camera. Probably a one that was high-tech for its day. But for today would probably be, I don't know, maybe as good as yours. Well, it would be better than the one that we use. Because the shots are better than the ones we get.
Yeah.
But... I think it was probably done on digital, but we could watch Wamego making movies everywhere as a special feature, and it might answer it.
Not tonight, though. It's like midnight.
Uh-huh.
I have to be up in 7 hours.
Uh-huh.
I've got class tomorrow.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Well, you can watch it while I get ready for bed. But yeah, so no, I mean, a patron requested it, and it was actually a good film for once that we had to watch.
Yeah, there... I admit,
I hope that you wanted me to say that.
There's huge leaps in logic that I completely did not get, but that was partly because I'm incredibly tired.
I think it's one of those things where it's like nothing makes sense, but it's just the pastiche of the things you have to go with it.
Well, that could be a rule of thumb for trauma films generally.
Yeah, yeah. This wasn't a trauma production one, though. They just bought the distribution rights, right?
Yeah, this is a Trauma Team production, which is the term for ones that they bought. But it was released by Trauma, and they're very proud of that.
And if you'd like to watch it, Trauma has made it available for free viewing on their YouTube channel.
Yes,
so
it is.
You can actually just go and watch the whole entire film right now for free on YouTube and not feel bad about it, because Trauma has placed, I think, if not the entirety of, like 90% of all of their movies on YouTube.
A huge amount.
And they encourage you to watch them for free.
And, you know, but luckily
some
of us go out and buy hard copies.
Well,
I already had this hard copy. The other one I actually bought. I might give it away to Con or something.
they might have, I think they monetized them, so at least they're getting ad revenue from YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's very clever of them.
I support Lloyd in that endeavor. So, but yeah, what else can we say about that? I mean, it was good. It was good. It was colorful. It had like this kind of like neo-retro thing going on, because some of the girls were dressed like out of the 60s, like that whole like retro 60s modern thing that became in vogue for like a hot second in the late 90s.
Oh yeah.
That like, you know, neo-Grease kind of thing.
That was probably partially because of John Waters. Because he, two of his big films he made in the 80s, Hairspray and Crybaby. I think it's called something about crying and stars Johnny Depp, but they were 60s and 50s, and they sort of became cult hits over the time. You know, Hairspray became quite so popular. Hairspray starring Ricky Lake.
They did a remake.
They did the remake, yeah, and the play version. I think they're doing.
What's Ricky Lake been up to recently? She had the talk show, but
don't know. But she was an actor in an early John Waters.
I remember that. I've never actually seen Hairspray, but I know that it's about a fat girl and her mom in Baltimore wanting to win a dance contest.
Basically, and it's also got things about it.
Isn't John Travolta involved?
That's the remake.
Okay.
The original, it's Divine playing the mother.
Okay.
And it's set in during segregation, or during segregation of dance contests or something. Okay. And so there's all this stuff about racism and all. Okay. It's John Waters' first mainstream film. His films.
I was never in a dance contest when I lived in Baltimore, just to let y'all know.
His films before that tended to have cast made up of homeless people.
Yeah.
And you have people eating literal dog shit.
Oh, don't talk about it. I've heard about that, but I don't talk about it. I think it's horrible.
I have most of John Waters' films, and it's a tragedy he hasn't made a film in so fucking long.
He's old, though.
Yeah, but he's been trying to get films off the ground. Like, his last one he did was a Dirty Shame. And the last one before that was my personal favourite John Waters, Cecil B. Demented.
Never saw that.
Oh, it's got this bunch of...
I know, I've heard about it. But...
film fans who turn to cinema terrorism to kill vapid Hollywood. It's awesome. They kidnap a Hollywood A-lister and, you know, force her to take part in their terrorism, and they give her Stockholm syndrome, so she joins them in their efforts
you know what
to destroy
it sounds
Hollywood.
like? It sounds like that part. Years and years ago, I reviewed Rubber with Mr. Mendo for Mendo's Hack Attack. It's probably somewhere on YouTube. You should probably go find that. But I didn't like the film because I said that pretty much large chunks of it were basically like heavy-handed symbolism of the director's
nothing in John Waters is heavy-handed.
Getting up on a soapbox with a bullhorn saying, "Get it? You're all sheeple. See? You're being poisoned by mainstream media. See? Indie film is better. Look how stupid you are. They're literally killing you. Do you get it?" And that's... I don't like heavy-handed symbolism.
Well,
like that.
Cecil B. Demented was inspired by Patty Hearst. Patty Hearst, who's a friend of John Waters, who's been in a bunch of his films.
Wait, isn't she? She's famous for some reason.
She was an heiress. She was kidnapped
oh, right,
by
the
a bunch
Manson
of
family. Okay.
No, not the Manson family. The Somebody Seven.
The other ones.
And they robbed a bunch of places, and she ended up in jail. But then she got released, and she became friends with John Waters. She's acted in a couple of his films.
Okay.
And so that's what they're doing. They're doing the Patty Hearst story, but through the lens of cinema. And their idea of the vapid Hollywood they're taking on is stuff like attacking a cinema for playing the director's cut of Patch Adams. Because the original was long enough. It does not deserve our director's cut.
Well,
it's
Patch
great.
Adams didn't do very well, did it? I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's a wonderful film.
What, Patch Adams?
No.
Oh.
The members, they choose their favourite director and they tattoo their name on their body.
Sounds like something you or Brad would do.
Terry Gilliam, motherfuckers. And
I wouldn't do that.
It has Michael Shannon, a.k.a. Zod from Man of Steel, screaming that he wants to know about Mel Gibson's dick and balls.
Don't we all, really?
It's also got...
If you know about Mel Gibson's dick and balls, write the show.
It's also got Maggie Gyllenhaal, who became famous later on. Her, being a Satanist, and she's like smacking people to make so they have, instead of using rouge, because Satan says you need more red in your cheeks.
So, I enjoyed Pep Squad. I'm just saying.
Cecil B. Demented. I gotta watch that again. It's so good.
Jesus. What did you think of the movie
Pep Squad?
overall?
I thought it was fine. It was a little bit slapdash. And stylistically, it was a little bit...
I don't think it had a really huge budget.
Unsure of itself. It was about $500,000, I think, according to Wiki. Or IMDb, sorry. It was a little bit slapdash in that, acting-wise, generally, it was going for a certain tone, and then occasionally it was just... You have some characters in some scenes
with their own Foley artist.
Yeah, they would
like
act.
Some people had like sound effects added to them, and I was like,
they would act like it's a really broad comedy, just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will read the back for you. A daringly anarchic version of American society, Pep Squad chronicles the days leading up to a Kansas high school senior prom. 8 girls are nominated for the coveted title of prom queen, but before anyone can collect the crown, they must survive the psychological and physical attacks from their classmates. Which is not true. It's only like the one classmate, really.
Well, you find out later on it's 2, but that's like a twist that doesn't make sense.
At Oak Hill High, the students are jaded, the principal is a lecherous creep, and friends stab each other in the back for one night's fleeting honor in this masterful satire that plays like, quote, a blood simple remake by John Hughes, LA Times, the New Times, LA. With the vendettas heating up and the body count rising, will anyone be around to collect the crown? That's not a very good blurb.
Could be worse. Could be better. Could be something.
Could be worse, could be raining. But no, I mean, patron who wanted it, you've good taste, good on you.
Oh, there was going to be something else I was going to mention. I've forgotten what it is. You know, I could just play it safe and talk about Cecil B. Demented again. But
No.
Or female trouble.
No one cares.
Tell me someone cares about John Waters films.
They're here to see you talk about Pep Squad. That's what they clicked on. The patron, that's what the patron wants. They're like, I don't want to hear you talking about Cecil B. Demented.
It's good. Oh, yes, I remember. This film that this reminds me of not entirely, not 100%, but I forgot the name of it. Bobcat Goldthwait's film about
Yeah. I saw it on Netflix. The whole thing where they basically America is just about becoming a psychopath.
He's got terminal cancer.
Yeah,
and so he teams up with a psychopath.
the girl.
And he goes and murders all the vapid reality stars. That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah. You know what?
But this is less coherent.
Me and Navert and
I was
Melissa
there. We watched it.
Yeah.
I was there.
Okay.
I was visiting. I suggested we watch it because the trailer looked funny.
Because I was thinking that while we watched it, but then I couldn't. I thought it was just me and Melissa and Navert. So
I was there.
Sorry
That's
to
when
edit you out of that memory.
But yeah, this was like a less cohesive and less coherent version of that. I can't remember what it was called. That was Bobcat Goldthwait's, not his last film. His last one was Willow Creek. One before that.
It was something about America.
Yeah, something America. And it's starring Bill Murray's elder brother.
Yeah. And who was the girl?
That I don't know. She hasn't done very much.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'll Google this.
Okay, although we only have like 2 minutes left on the memory of the camera.
Well,
I really should have checked the memory. I apologize. Patron, if you feel you've been shortchanged, I am so sorry.
that's okay because...
Give me another random suggestion for a Backseat critique and I might actually have a copy.
That's because we're
I'd have a lot of films.
It's like we were in discography.
I watch so many films, you won't believe.
Oh my god, he's been in everything.
I have like 400 films yet to watch.
She does. It's incredible.
Who's this?
God Bless America. That's what it was called.
Who were you looking up? Who's
I just looked up Bobcat Goldthwait on Wikipedia because you said we needed time. Yeah. Starring Joel Murray, Tara Lynn Barr, I guess is the girl.
Oh no, this is Bill Murray's younger brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's got like 4 brothers.
Well, the movie's called God Bless America.
Bill Murray has like 4 brothers who are actors. It's really weird. He's like the Baldwins, but no one knows this.
Well, they all know now.
Yeah. The mayor in Groundhog Day was his elder brother.
1 minute left.
Yeah. The mayor in Groundhog Day is his brother. He also played the psychiatrist in Ghostbusters 2.
So, Patron, I hope that this is all that you dreamed of and more.
Yeah. Decent film. Check it out on YouTube. You know,
watch it
or
in its entirety.
attempt to grab it from me through the
and then
screen.
everyone
I doubt it will work.
Everyone tweet at Tara and tell her, we saw a movie that... And I'm sure she'll really appreciate that.
Yeah, Tara, if you were a crazy person playing Hagen and, you know, a teenager
look
played
like
by a 30-year-old...
a little bit more like Melissa Joan Hart. There you go. So that's us.
Bye-bye.